My top 25 roller coasters changed a lot in the last year. I went to so many new theme parks, both in the UK and in Europe, so I thought before we get into the new season, I'd sit down and make a top 25 video. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. So, starting off with number 25, this is Maximus Flight of the Guardian at Legoland, Germany. This is a really fun family wing coaster. I think it's quite a bit better than Mandrill Mayhem. It has two inversions, I mean Mandrill technically has two, but overall I just preferred the layout of it, as well as the theming was pretty much the same across both of them, but the trains on this one are incredible. Probably my favourite coaster trains ever. In 24 is Colossus at Thorpe Park. Now, it's not the most comfortable ride, especially if you're in an even row, but I think in an odd row it's actually really fun, especially the quad roll at the end. That is amazing. 23 is Shockwave at Drayton Manor, and specifically Shockwave instead of the Wave. I have the Wave ranked quite a bit lower. I just preferred Shockwave. Yes, it wasn't as comfortable, but the elements were much more insane, especially that zero-G roll. That was just ridiculous. At number 22 is Silver Star at Europa Park. This is a really fun B&M hypercoaster, some really good floater airtime, but the airtime coming off the mid-course in the back row is just the best part of the entire ride. So much fun on that one. Next up at 21 is Icon. This is a fun ride, it's got some pretty good airtime in it, but I haven't been on it in a while, so I actually prefer what's further up on the list compared to this, but that's probably going to change next time I ride it. At number 20 is Dragon's Fury at Chessington, my home park. Best spinning coaster I've ever been on, no question about it. So much fun. If you can get it really spinning around the elements, it is pretty crazy. At number 19, probably the most controversial part of this list, is the Smiler. Yes, it's not in my top 10. I don't really like this ride. It's fun when you get a nice smooth train. It's not fun when you get a rough train, but no matter if it's a smooth or rough one, the last four inversions just completely kill the ride for me. No matter how good it's been up to that point, they always just really bash my head around it. It's just absolute nightmare. I really hate that part of the ride, and so for that it's only number 19. And number 18 I actually have Oblivion right across from the Smiler, because it's a one-trick ride, but it does it so well. It's like the most amazing drop on any coaster I've ever been on. So much fun, and it's always really smooth, really fun, and always just crazy every single time. Next up is Vampire at Chessington. The theming is amazing, especially inside the station now the chandeliers are back. It all looks so nice. Absolutely love this ride. And yeah, it can be really fun in the back row. You get pulled over the top of the second lift. It's a lot of fun. At number 16, and again this is probably controversial, I have Fly at Phantasialand, and this would be a lot lower if the theming didn't make this like such a cool ride experience, because the ride itself I don't think was very interesting. The inversions were fine, but overall didn't really feel that intense. It was fun, it's cool to get launched on a flying coaster, but without the theming this would be so much further down on this list. Number 15 is Taron at Phantasialand. I don't get this ride. Everyone says it's like really world class, similar with Fly. I went on it, I did 10 rides on this thing over 2 days, and I just don't get it. There was one part that was really cool, but when people say that it was completely crazy the entire ride, I just didn't, and I don't understand that. And number 14, also at Phantasialand, is Colorado Adventure. This was one I had no idea what kind of ride to expect, and I went as far back as I could, and wow, that was crazy. Like, it was ridiculous. Probably the most kind of blown away I've been by a ride ever, really, because I didn't have like any expectations going in, and it just completely blew me away. At 13 is Nemesis Inferno at Thorpe Park. Fun ride, and it kind of depends on kind of how well it's running, but when it's running well, it's running really well. But I put it at 13 because it's not super consistent. At 12 is Black Mamba at Phantasialand. Really fun invert. I put it above Nemesis Inferno because Black Mamba has all the terrain interaction, which I think is really cool. At number 11 is Stealth at Thorpe Park. This launch is just nuts. No matter where you sit, just getting launched 0 to 80 in 1.8 seconds is the most insane feeling you can get on a coaster. It's ridiculous. At number 10 I have Blue Fire at Europa Park. This would be so far lower if it wasn't for that single inversion wait, just completely tried to throw you out your seat. I was not expecting it. I just went, whoa, what has just happened there? So that was so much fun. That's really why it's so high. But the rest of the ride is fun. There's some decent airtime. I like the inversions. I just had fun going on it. At number 9 is Wicker Man at Alton Towers. This is a fun ride. In the back row, Scarefest 2023, I think it was. Just pure craziness, start to finish. The airtime can be so good after it's been running all day. So much fun. And number 8 is Olympia Looping, which of course I've been on at Hyde Park Winter Wonderland. This one never fails to make me grey out after those 2 back-to-back inversions, the red and the blue ones. Just so intense. Although I don't really like the restraints, but the restraints were kind of just the lap bars. It'd be a bit higher on this list for me. And number 7 is the Swarm at Thorpe Park. I only actually rode this once last year, but of course back row, really fun. Absolutely love the ride. Super intense, and just the inline twist over the station is like such a cool way to finish a coaster. At number 6 I have Osiris at Parc Asterix. This one's a really fun ride. I wasn't expecting it to be as fun as it was. There was one moment, like an inversion, where like you're about to hit the building, which was awesome. There were some cool near misses. There were some weird parts as well. I think there's like a loop, there's like a slight dip in the track before you go into another inversion, which was really odd. Don't understand why you just do like a continuous kind of dive down into the valley and then back up into the inversion, but oh well. And it just looks really cool. Top 5 now. I've got Wodan at Europa Park. This one is like such an insane wooden coaster. So cool. The airtime on it is crazy. I had so much fun riding this thing in the back row. At number 4 is Dutatis at Parc Asterix. Again, crazy ride. Some of the airtime on that is just crazy. And that really fast inversion over that part of the queue line is amazing. At number 3, so top 3 now, I have Nemesis Reborn at Alton Towers. Wow, this thing never fails to disappoint. It is so good. My favourite part of this ride just has to be the inversion over the station. When it's going fast, well, the kind of the helix going into that, plus that inversion. When it's running really fast like it was at Scarefest, wow, that part is just so intense. It is so crazy. At number 2 now is Hyperia at Thorpe Park. And yeah, this is just a great coaster. Smooth train, back row. Managed to get like a bit too much space in my restraint. Going down that first drop was ridiculous. All the elements are just amazing. Even the fact that there's trims, the next two are like the most forceful parts of the entire ride. So no issue with it being completely short. This is just so much fun. And then finally, number 1 is, you've probably guessed it by now, Voltron at Europa Park. What a complete package this ride is. I think it's like 4 or 5 launches or something. So many elements, there's so much to do. It literally feels like 2 coasters pieced together with that turntable. It's got the turntable, it's got the backward spike, it's got a stall, it's got airtime. That quad kind of bit of airtime going up into the mid-course with the tower staircase next to it is like so much fun. And that hill kind of going towards where you hit like minus 1.7 G is just so crazy. Yeah, no, there's a problem with the rough trades and stuff, but I can see past that. Doesn't really bother me. Just every single time I went on it 10 times, completely blew me away every single time, so it fully deserves that number 1 spot. So I wonder how this is going to change by the end of this year. I'm hoping to get to a few interesting parks that could have some top 10 worthy coasters in them. So subscribe so you can see this exact same video next year, and we'll see what coasters that I go on this year will make it into my top 25 next year. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.